Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Let me welcome you to this, our annual parenting workshop under the theme Positive Parenting, Impacting Generations. With us, we have our chairperson or chairman of the board, Miss Judith Townsend, our principal, Mr. Williams, guidance counselor, Mr. Devon Daly, who is the organizer of this program. We have a few interesting presentations coming up. And so we are so very happy to have our parents and other stakeholders with us. I want to welcome also those persons who are joining us on our YouTube channel. The parenting workshop this year is being held under the theme Positive Parenting, Impacting Generations. This is such a fitting theme because the family is the first institution in which children are born. It's the first institution our children are exposed to. And so whatever experiences that they get, this is the first place that they'll get it. Whatever is taught in this institution will either benefit or harm the society in which we exist. Bob Keesham said, parents are the ultimate role models for children. Every word, every movement, and action affects. No other person outside force has a greater influence on a child than parents do. And so parents, I know that we have a mammoth task, but it's a very important task, and we don't wish to take it lightly. At this time, we are going to ask Mr. Heron to bring us the word. He is going to be doing our devotion. Let us welcome Mr. Heron. Mr. Heron, you may go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. All protocol observed. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It's a day that I am sure none of us has ever seen before, and it's a beautiful day. So let us begin our day by doing some good things. At this moment, I am going to we'll be doing our devotion, and I am going to go ahead and sing, read a scripture, and we'll pray. So, come magnify the Lord with me, and let exalt his name together. As we enter into the house of the Lord, we sing praises, praises to our God. Come magnify the Lord with me, and let exalt his name together. As we enter into the house of the Lord, we sing praises, praises to our God. At this time, I am going to read from the book of Psalms, and I'll read Psalm 1. And it says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth fruit in its season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. So here ended a portion of God's holy word. And at this time, I want you to bow your heads wherever you are, and let us invite the Lord's presence into our workshop this morning. Father, in the name of Jesus, one more time, we are here in your presence, Lord. You see and you know the reason why we are here, Jesus. This morning, Lord, I want you to remember the parents, remember the students, remember the teachers, the staff on a whole. Jesus, be in our hearts, guide us, Lord. In these times, we cannot do nothing without you, Lord. It is perilous times, Lord. And having a workshop with parents, Jesus, it is one of the greatest things that can be done at this time, Jesus, to put our young minds in the frame where we want them, Lord. Jesus, be with us every step of the way. Guide us in the way that you want us to. Jesus, if you don't hold our hands, Lord, we will stray, we will fail. Without you, Lord, we can do nothing. All things are possible by you, Jesus. So this morning, Lord, I pray that you be in our workshop, guide our minds, guide our thoughts. Jesus, bless us, sanctify, preserve, keep us. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. So at this time, I'll hand back over to Miss Williams.
Amen. Amen. I do agree with you, Mr. Heron. It is so important at this time for us to have a workshop. There are so many parents, so many families who are having a difficult time. This is a difficult time for many, and many persons are not coping. And I do hope that those persons who are here on this platform will be enlightened and they can take away something, some fuel in their tank, as I would put it, so they can press along, they can move along, strengthened, feeling renewed. It is Frederick Douglass who said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And I don't think there is a better way of building strong children than to expose them to the word of God, to have God be the forefront of your families, have God be in the center, that cornerstone on which we rely, because he says he'll supply all our needs. Okay, so thank you so very much. At this time, we are moving along in our program nicely. We are going to have Mr. Daly, our guidance counselor, the person who organized this program, spearheading this program, followed by Miss Judith Townsend, our chairperson on the board, who will give us greetings. So right after Mr. Daly, Miss Judith Townsend will come to us. Welcome, Mr. Daly.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Williams. Let me extend a very warm welcome to all of us who are here this morning. I'm very happy to see all of us, very elated. On behalf of the guidance department, I want to use this opportunity to welcome our board chairman, Miss Judith Townsend, and also our principal, Mr. Duken Williams, and our guest speaker, our guest presenter, Mrs. Natalie Harrison, and also our parents. We are very elated as a department to be having this workshop. The workshop is held under the theme Positive Parenting Impacting Generations. We are very concerned about what is happening in our society. And we believe to tackle it at the root, we have got to focus on parenting. We understand that there is no manual, but as a department, we want to come alongside our parents and offer the necessary support that we can offer to them to aid them in this very important task of parenting. To that end, we have selected our speakers today. They have been handpicked for the purpose of impacting our parents. And it is my prayer that whatever you would have learned in the workshop today, you'll be able to apply it to your situation. We have persons from the National Council on Drug Abuse presenting today. We have also invited the PATH program to come and to present to you that which they offer and how you can access what they offer, because we really want you to help your children parent in a positive way. And we believe that if the family is transformed, then we'll have a brand new generation. It is my prayer and hope that as we go through today, you will be positively impacted. We thank you so much for your presence, and may God richly bless you as we continue with the work here at Lewisville, the School of Choice and Champion. Thank you very, very much. You have a great day. I must also make mention of Miss Suzanne Roy, who is online from the National Council on Drug Abuse, our substance officer in the parish of St. Elizabeth. She'll be sharing with you today. We pray that we'll have a good time together. God bless you. And the chairman is going to now bring her word of greeting.
Good morning, everyone. All protocol observed. I am not going to turn my video on, owing to the fact that my internet is working very unstable. This morning it keeps popping up that it's unstable, and I know that might cause a disconnection, but I think by now everyone know who I am. The presenters won't be seeing me, but I know they can share my concern based on the fact that we know these are some of the challenges that we face with technology today. So again, all protocol observed. I'd like to say that at Lewisville, we provide an education. We don't only provide education. But we built on character. We strive to focus on guiding students to become well-rounded individuals, both academically, spiritually, and with a sense of responsibility to themselves and to the community at large. The education offered here at Lewisville is one which equally emphasizes knowledge, good morals, ethical value, and the development of physical health for our children. Just a few days ago, I had a discussion because English is an international language. Therefore, we want our children to learn and be well versed in standard English. And this is something that we have to be working on with our children a lot in Lewisville. And this is where we are geared to going forward in getting our children a very good English background as students. Our vision here is to inspire them to become responsible, mature, enthusiastic, as we have a caring and positive staff. I can say that our staff is caring and positive. They have gone above and beyond to reach our student parents in this pandemic. They did not sit back and wait for the student to reach. I know my principal and his team been going from house to house, visiting students and trying to get them involved in getting their work done, coming in for registration, as a lot of students might not yet have been registered. So I can attest to my teachers and their work, and that they are continuing to develop strong skills despite the pandemic that will allow students to pursue their dreams and goals as they become adults. And parents, I am not leaving you out because I know that's what you want. And this is why I am adamant at getting it done as the chairman. And I am willing to work with the parents, work with the teachers, and work with everyone despite my other commitments, because I want, when my students leave Lewisville, that they can say it was worthy to be there. And I am happy as a parent that I had sent my student to Lewisville. I volunteered at a school some years ago to teach chemistry and HSB. And yesterday, I was so proud when I walked into this office, and who was there? One of my student parents. I did not remember the student. He was attending to me. And he said, "Miss, do you forget me?" I said, "Miss, I didn't even remember that I volunteered so long ago." He said, "Miss, you taught me HSB and I was successful. I got a range 1 for the class." You know how I feel. And this is how I want when my students leave Lewisville. They will see our teachers, our principal, our chairman, and all the stakeholders that has worked with them to get them to where they work, where they want to go, and aspire their goals and their dreams. And parents, I am asking you to work with us, to share your concern. Don't sit home and say them teach up at Lewisville, now teach out them because this, that. Because sometimes the students are gonna come in and tell you stories because they don't want to do the work. But I am telling you that we have our ears on the ground and we are open to all, and I mean all that you as your concern as parents, and we will not address it on a group basis, but we will address it on an individual basis as the concerns arise. And today, as we stand out to share this year to acknowledge Parent Month on the theme of positive parents impacting generation, we have to applaud you parents because you have been doing a good job in the last 2.5 years. Because if your input was not strong, we could not be as resilient as we are, teachers and stakeholders, because they have been home for all this time. And a lot of you have taken it on, and there's some that can't afford it, which we know, and we try our best to aid in giving them the electronic device that they need, in helping every way we possibly can. And therefore, your impact by giving them their tablets and computers or cell phones so that they were able to do their work. We are so proud of you because I know a lot of you have made sacrifice, and I hope your children are appreciating the effort, and I can see it in the work that is being done. Again, parents, a month is not even big enough to celebrate for you. It should be the whole year we celebrate, but we are happy that we have designated a month, and I want to thank you all for coming today. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so very much, Miss Suzanne, our chairperson. She is very passionate about education, very passionate about the children here at Lewisville. It is no doubt that you hear her speak as if all the children there are hers. Lewisville High School, we operate as a family, and so all the children are our children. In the words of Jesse Jackson, your children need your presence more than your presence. And so let me spell that. Your children need your presence more than your presents. Sometimes as parents, we give them everything they need and everything they want, but what they really need is lacking. And when we talk about being present as parents, we're not talking about just being visible. We have a lot of parents who are visible. They are in the home, but they do nothing that is happening in the lives of their children. So I'm going to implore you, parents, to be present, right? Make sure your presence be felt, and not just to give children all the things that they want, because not all the things that they want are really the things that they need. All right, so we have to be careful. We have to be mindful of that. A few persons have joined since our last presenter, Ms. Thousand, Mr. Daly, since those persons were speaking, and so I want to welcome them to this platform. At this time, we are going to be hearing from our principal, Mr. Duken Williams, a person who I know is serious about the business of education and very passionate about the institution which he leads. Helping me welcome our principal, Mr. Duken Williams. You may go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams, chairperson of today's parenting workshop. Our chairman, Ms. Judith Thousand, our guest speaker, Ms. Natalie Harris Mackenzie, and other specially invited guests, to our guidance counselor, Mr. Devon Daly, and our other administrator, Mr. George Curlew, and my hardworking teachers, and our VIPs, very important people, our parents who have taken time out of their busy schedule to be here today at this parenting workshop. Good morning to you all. I want to start off by commending the guidance and counseling unit, which is led by our dynamic guidance counselor, Mr. Daly. Mr. Daly is someone who has the interests of our parents and the students at heart. And since the pandemic, because I've been here since the pandemic, so I can't speak about before the pandemic, Mr. Daly has been very creative in trying to reach our students and parents. And I want to publicly today express thanks to Mr. Daly on behalf of the board and the administration. To Mr. Daly, who have gone the extra mile to visit our parents and their students to find every single child that has been missing since the pandemic. And so I want to say to you, parents, in my few words, your role in the institution is very critical. You play a very integral role in the life of the institution. You are the lifeblood of the institution. And so I want you to understand that your role is not only to come to school the first day when it's orientation, and when you hear about graduation, you go and buy your nice jacket and nice suit or dress to come and to walk up the aisle. I am saying to you, parents, you must be involved in the institution every day. And you have to play a part by ensuring that you know what is happening at the institution, know the teachers' numbers, know the school number, know which class your child is in. And so it's about ensuring, parents, that you play your part. I want to encourage all of you parents today who are here. I believe that you are the ambassadors. You are the parents who are interested in your child's development. So I want you to leave from this workshop today and go and tell those parents who are not here that they need to play a part in their child's life. Thank you very much for coming. God bless you. Over to you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Williams. Before we move to our next presenter, I think our next presenter is with us. Yes. I want to share a quote with you. It is fitting because our theme says positive parenting impacting generations. And I do believe a part of impact is to build self-esteem in our children. A lot of children lack self-esteem, and that is the reason why they get into a lot of the trouble that they are in. That is the reason why we have some amount of gangs. Persons are easy to lead them astray because they can't stand up for themselves. And so they believe that if I belong with this group, I'll stand out. If I belong with this group, it means I am important. Alvin Price said, parents need to fill a child's bucket of self-esteem so high that the rest of the world can't poke enough holes to drain it dry. I'm going to repeat it. Parents need to fill a child's bucket of self-esteem so high that the rest of the world can't poke enough holes to drain it dry. And so parents, I just want you to think on these things. We have our next presenter with us, Miss Suzanne Roy. Yes. She is going to be joining us from the National Council on Drug Abuse, Miss Roy. Please welcome her. You may go right ahead, Miss Roy.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, Ms. Williams. And a special morning to all the parents online. And of course, all protocols observed this morning. It's a pleasure being here with you this morning. And of course, my task for this morning, sharing some information with our parents as it relates to substances of abuse. And I want to say happy Parent Month to you all. And of course, November is also known as Drug Awareness Month. And our theme is let's spread hope for a brighter tomorrow. Hashtag show love, hashtag be kind, and of course, NCDA cares. So the Christmas season is fast approaching. And of course, it's a busy time for all of us. It's about having family get-togethers, having a good time. But what we want persons to understand that drugs, it is not a sexy topic, and persons, they don't like to hear about it. But I want to give you some pointers this morning that you ought to look out for. Now, technically, we tend to talk about the commonly used substances, which are alcohol, tobacco, and ganja. And with permission, I'm going to ask if it's possible for me to share my screen, as there are some pictures that I would really want you to see for you to understand what exactly our children are exposed to, and of course, parents as well too. So without no further ado, I'm going to share my screen so that you'll be able to see what I will be presenting to you this morning. All right, so positive parenting impacting generations. That is a theme for Parent Month. And of course, this particular theme that they're looking at for this month shows that we want to encourage our parents to continue being a part of supporting your children. Of course, there will be challenges, and with those challenges, you know, there's not a manual that comes with being a parent, honestly. So sometimes it may be difficult, it may be stressful, but we're encouraging you to keep focus. Just want to know if you're able to see my screen right now. If so, you can just kindly unmute your mics and let me know, and I will jump into my presentation.
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Yes, we are.
beautiful, awesome.
Yes, miss.
Thank you, my darling. So,
And Miss Roy, just before you continue, I just want to let our parents know that we will be giving away prizes. So I want them to pay keen attention. So at the end of your presentation, they'll be able to win and take home something.
awesome, beautiful.
Okay, parents?
Great, awesome. Thank you, my darlings. Okay, so before we jump in, by definition, what are drugs? Now, drugs are any substance which, when taken into the body, alters the way the body functions. Now, when persons hear the word drugs, they would say, Miss, that is not for me. I'm not doing drugs. And they didn't even know what drugs are considered to be. As mentioned before, persons are familiar with the tobacco, the alcohol, and even ganja. But to an extent, many persons wouldn't even know that even the shoe polish that our children use on their shoes to go to school is considered to be a drugs, and we classify those as inhalants. But there are some drugs that I really want to share with you this morning. And of course, drugs can be legal and illegal, just across the board. Commonly abused substances are the ganja, the tobacco, and the alcohol that many of us are associated with. And I know inside here, we're in the parish of St. Elizabeth. And when it comes on to drugs, especially ganja, there are three parishes that normally pops up on the radar for ganja. One is St. Elizabeth, second is Westmoreland, and the third one is St. Anne. So whenever ganja is mentioned, those three parishes pops up on the radar. Of course, these are happening in other parishes too, but those three parishes we know right across the board. Now, also, I want to share that even in St. Elizabeth, there are a lot of bars within our communities. Everywhere you turn, there's a bar here, there's a bar there. I think the last survey that was done by SDC, it's around 800. I'm not so familiar exactly with the actual amount, and it may have, I know that it has changed. 800 and something bars that are within the parish of St. Elizabeth, and that's a lot, right? But as we know that alcohol is a legal substance for adults, and we have adults on board this morning. So as adults, you have the choice to do so. Also, tobacco is a legal substance for adults as well too. And ganja, while many persons may be of the impression that ganja is legal, however, ganja is not a legal substance. It is still an illegal substance within our country. What has happened is that ganja has been decriminalized, meaning that an adult, and we're talking about a person 18 years and older, can have 2 ounces or less without getting a criminal record, right? However, once they're found with under 2 ounces or less, they can still obtain a ticket for having ganja in their possession. And also the law states that each household is allowed to have 5 plants of ganja tree at home. Now, it's not each person living in the household, but the household itself. Also, I want to encourage persons that today at 1 o'clock, we will be launching our Good Ganja Sense website. That is at 1 o'clock today. So if you're interested, you can also go to that website where it gives you factual information about ganja, not the myths that we are associated with in society, that ganja is good for you, ganja makes you brighter, ganja makes you prettier, more handsome. You can visit that website to get factual information, right? So let's jump in. I want to look at the trending drugs that are affecting our children. Now, on this list, we see where we have lean, e-cigarettes, fentanyl, and edibles. Before I go any further, as I mentioned, I see that there is a raise of hand. Warrell?
Yes, pardon me, I don't think we're seeing the PowerPoint. Are you presenting from a PowerPoint?
I am presenting from a PowerPoint, but what I just said was not on the PowerPoint. You're not seeing trending drugs right now?
No.
Anyone else having that challenge?
Miss, I'm not seeing it, miss.
Yes, I was thinking that you would be picking it up afterwards. Yeah, we're just seeing the files.
Oh, okay. All right, let me stop sharing. I thought you guys were seeing what I was sharing just now. All right. Let me know if you're seeing now.
Yes, we are.
All right, beautiful. My apologies, but most of what I was saying was just off the top of my head. So we're now looking at trending drugs, and we're looking at lean, e-cigarettes, fentanyl, and edibles. Now, looking at these substances, and we did mention about the tobacco, and of course, tobacco has been around for centuries. It contains thousands of chemicals, and the main addictive substance is nicotine. And the addiction produced by nicotine is as strong as that produced by cocaine or heroin. And of course, I did mention that it is a legal substance. If you see on a cigarette box, it says 18 years or older. And on the cigarette box, it says warning, smoking kills. It means that even though a person at 18 is considered to be an adult, they're still warning you that, listen, if you decide to consume this product, in fact, at some point, it's going to affect you. You may have cancer. You may die at some point as well, too. And it also states it's going to kill you, right? We did mention that. So if a person should smoke cigarette and they should develop lung cancer, they can't go ahead and sue Matterhorn or Craveney because they were given a warning. They were the one who chose to do so. It's a choice that they made. Also for alcohol as well, it says 18 years and older, a person should drink responsibly. Even though at 18, a person is considered to be an adult, that person's brain still has not been developed. And of course, we consider brain development to be the age of 25 years old. That is what scientists have shown, that when you're 25 is when your brain is fully developed. Once you start intake any substance before that age, it will cause a disruption. It will cause issues with the way your brain should develop, thus may show some abnormal behavior. So it's encouraged that even at 18, you should drink responsibly. All right. So that is supposed to be noted there. Now, ganja, as we mentioned, has been around since the 1840s. It's grown in Jamaica over 150 years and is exported illegally for many years. Illegal, although socially and culturally acceptable in some places. Now, alcohol is an integral part of the slave system and the sugar economy. Alcohol is a byproduct of sugarcane and 18 years and older, right? Now, this is what I want to go into, the e-cigarette. So on my screen here, you are seeing some devices, some of which may look familiar to you and some of which may not be looking so familiar to you. Also, if you're able to see my camera as well, I do have a product of it right here with me. I'm sorry that we're not doing it face-to-face for you to see how it looks. Now, the e-cigarettes on the screen here, this is a device which is powered by a battery. It varies in design and may resemble and feel like a regular cigarette, and it is designed to appeal to youngsters. So yes, it was specifically made for our teenagers so that they can pull them in at an early age to start using. And it gives the impression of a healthier alternative to regular smoking, which it is not, because it still has nicotine inside of the product. So it is not a healthier alternative for persons who decide that they want to quit smoking. Using an e-cigarette is not something that we recommend at all. Now, with some of these e-cigarettes, some are powered by battery, as we mentioned before, while they they are disposable. So after using it, you have to discard it. It's no longer of any use to you. But there are some which comes with a charger. So just like your phone, if your battery dies on your phone, you can plug it in and charge it up again. Same with the e-cigarettes. You can plug it in and charge it up again once the battery dies, right? Now, these are just a few of the samples of it here on the screen, and you see that there's a charger there. So in the middle of the product here, we see where it can be filled with the nicotine oil or the ganja oil. So that is where you would put the product in and then the person starts to vape, right? So if the part here at the bottom dies, then you can plug it in and have it recharged again for usage. Now, street names for electronic cigarettes that you may be familiar with, as we call them, vape pens, we call them hookah pens, e-hookahs, and of course the name e-cigarettes, or modes, which is customized and or more powerful vaporizers. And we have the electronic nicotine delivery system, which we call the ENDS, and the electronic non-nicotine delivery system. Now, the compartments of the electronic cigarettes include the cartridge, which is being filled with a liquid that contains nicotine, flavorings, and other chemicals. So say, for example, your child likes to eat bananas or strawberries or grapes. So they can purchase one that has a grape flavor. So whatever flavor that they like, that's the one that they can purchase. So how this works is that the heating device in the e-cigarettes converts the liquid into a vape, which the person inhales, uses a battery source and a mouthpiece that the person uses to intake the vape, which can be replaced by the user. And not all electronic cigarettes contain nicotine. As we mentioned before, we have the electronic non-nicotine delivery system. But we want persons to understand that as much as they may look beautiful, they're eye-catching for youngsters. And sometimes at that age, they're very curious. They want to see what this is all about. Now, we know that for parents who are users, we encourage you not to use around your children. Children live what they learn. Whatever they see their parents or guardians doing, they want to try it as well too. Let me see what mommy likes about this so much. And they go to the back and try to hide and do something. The teachers in the school can tell you that sometimes they have the issues where sometimes the guys will put some of the rum into the Pepsi bottle, trying to discard to say it's just Pepsi that they're drinking. All of these things that we need to be in the know. We need to know what's happening with our children. We all need to understand what are the challenges that you're facing, right? Now, reasons why persons use electronic cigarettes. E-cigarettes have been taken up by millions around the world since they first appeared on the Chinese market in 2004. And persons believe that it helps addicts quit smoking cigarettes. And we did mention that before, that it's not a healthier alternative to do so. And of course, it has cancer-causing agents, which have been detected with the electronic cigarettes. It is deemed dangerous for unborn babies and causes indoor pollution, right? It also reduces the body's ability to resist infections. We see where we do have COVID-19 affecting us right now in our country. And of course, we know that COVID affects the lungs. So we want to ensure that our lungs are healthy and strong so that we can hide infections, right? Fatalities can occur as a result of ingesting nicotine in its liquid state, and nicotine toxicity can harm the cardiovascular and the central nervous as well as the pulmonary system of the body. So all the important parts of the body, we want to ensure that it's in tip-top shape. So we want as parents, you're at home now, some of the students may be doing classes online, while some may be doing classes face-to-face as well. We're not telling you that, listen, you need to be on your children's backs all the time, but be aware, be in the know when your child's mood is changing, know what is happening in the environment, even the household as well too, because these e-cigarettes, they resemble something looking like a pen. So you may see it and think that maybe it's a toy or a pen or probably something that they bought on the street, not paying attention that this is something that can harm your child, right? So we want you to understand that this is something that can affect the family. Having dysfunctional families is like your child has made a 360 turn because you weren't paying attention. We're encouraging parents to look, pay attention, even now with the Christmas season fast approaching, that bottle of rum that you may have on your fridge top or somewhere in a cabinet at your home that you're hoping to bake a cake, look to see if there's rum inside of that bottle. Sometimes the children will replace it with water. So when you're making those delicious cakes and you say, boy, this cake don't taste right at all, seems as if something is missing. Yes, something may be missing because the child would have replaced the rum with the water without you knowing. So we want you to understand these things and have that talk with your child. Don't wait until they go to school for guidance counselors or the deans of discipline to tell them about the dangers of substances and what it can do to their body as well too, right? So now we want to look at edibles. Now, routes of administrations include inhalation, which is smoking and vaporizing. The onset is immediate. For oral, the onset is 30 to 60 minutes, and topical onset is 1 to 2 hours. So for someone who is smoking, the route of administration is that they feel the effect once they're smoking it. For oral, mean that when they're eating the product, it takes a 30 to 60 minute time span for it to kick in. So when it comes on to even the cookies and the brownies, they will consume a lot of it because when they eat a piece of the cake or the brownie with the ganja in it, they say, boy, I don't feel any way. I don't see where I'm acting any different because the onset wouldn't have happened as yet. So it takes a little time for it to kick in. Now, I've seen where many youngsters would have come to me due to the fact that they would have ate the product, not knowing that that ganja was inside. While some knew that ganja was inside, but ate too much and had a reaction where they start to hallucinate. They start to see things that aren't there. They start to feel things that aren't there. They keep saying to you, mommy, see, feel as if spider is crawling on me when nothing is crawling on them. So they start to hallucinate due to the fact that they would have consumed so much of the ganja cake. They start to show some abnormal signs. So we want you to understand that some of the cakes and the brownies that you may see them eating, they must be aware of where they're getting it from. Parents too, if you're buying something, it's important for you to read the labels as well too, to know what you're consuming. Some persons, they just go ahead and buy something, oh, it looks nice, because we tend to eat with our eyes sometimes too. Once it's pretty, we decide to say, hey, let me have it. Brianna, you're writing on my screen, my darling. Thank you. So they don't read the labels to see what was put inside of it. I myself was in Santa Cruz at one point where somebody was trying to sell me some peanut cake that was laced with ganja. We have to be careful what you're doing, because if you consume these products, it's a risk you take when you take these products. I can't say to you, this is exactly what will happen to you. I can give you a list of things that may happen, but we are all different. Some persons, when they use the product, they laugh a lot. Some persons, they want to sleep. They want to eat a lot of sweets. They open up their appetite. Some persons, they don't want anything at all to eat. So they just want to continue consuming without even eating anything. So we need to be very careful of what we're doing, right? And we see here the pictures on the screen. We see where the edibles are there too, looking very beautiful. We see where we have the gummy bears and the lollipop. So on the outside, it looks pretty normal, but once that you consume, your behavior will change. Some of them, you can smell the ganja in it, but some, it is so well done that you're unable to smell anything until you would have consumed the product there and then. Now, what are edibles? Edibles are a fruit product infused with cannabis extract. And of course, cannabis is the same. Ganja, marijuana, weed, whatever we want to call it in our terminologies, is the same thing, right? So edibles come in many forms, including baked goods, candies, gummies, chocolates, and beverages. And this is a beautiful picture here of a ganja brownie. So it looks like a regular brownie. It does it with all the nuts and it looks chocolatey. So if you're a person who loves chocolate, this may seem appealing to you. So you want your children to be sure what they're taking from persons. Know who they're taking things from. You don't know who will give you something that can be laced with any of these substances, whether ganja, whether cocaine, whatever substance there is of our children, they need to be in the know. And as parents, you are at the best spot to explain the challenges that they can face as a result of not being sure how to make proper decisions. We talk about decision-making techniques. We need to teach our children how to do that knowing how to say no. Nothing is wrong with saying no. A lot of persons, they love to be, as Jamaicans would say, a yes man. Everything they say yes for. Sometimes saying no is the right move to make. It's not all the time you can say yes. And you don't even have to give a person an explanation why you're saying no. If you just say no, that is it. You walk away and you move along. Encourage your children, know when to say no, right? It's not about just say, boy, I mean, no, I'm a friend and I'm a friend this, listen, sometimes, as they would say, you will not allow your enemy close to you. It's your friends at times who can do you harm. So you have to be able to know what you're getting yourselves into, right? We see here, we see Kit Kat, as this is an imitation of Kit Kat chocolate. We see the Oreo imitation here, the Reese's, the Crunch. So these are beautifully labeled things. So if we just see the package there, we would say, boy, it looks like a Kit Kat. You take it up, not reading it. And we would have seen this happen to many persons. Just imagine you may be buying, say, for example, you're buying a Pepsi. So you just take up the Pepsi, but you didn't even realize that it says diet Pepsi. Not true. And you just go ahead and say, oh, this one tastes so funny. After consuming it, you would have read the bottle and say, oh, it's the diet one. So some persons, they don't read labels. And that's where they would go ahead, consume the product, not knowing what is inside of it, right? Now, why do people use edibles? Peer pressure. Our children, a lot of them are surrounded by peer pressure. They want to fit in and they believe as if they do what their friends are saying, that's how they will be a part of their team. Teach them to be leaders, not followers. They think it's cool. So because my friends are doing it, it's cool, I should do it too. Understand for them to say, listen, it's okay to stand out. When you stand out, it's all good and glamour there because you want to be that person. Rebellion, because they find it relaxing as well too. Many of what youngsters would say is, Miss, I'm stressed out and that's why I decide to do it. It helps me to relax. But if you're stressed out about something, let's just say we're stressed because we want fancy things for Christmas. You need about 30,000 to buy some things for Christmas. After smoking, do you now have that 30,000? No, you're back at square one. You don't have anything there and then. So what it does is help persons to forget for a while, but it doesn't solve the problems that we have affecting us. And of course, the effects of ganja short term, we see it feels calm, relaxed and sleepy, increase of the heartbeat, reaction time slows down, your throat, mouth, and lips gets dry, eyes get bloodshot and eyesight blurs, loss of sense of time, and impaired perception. And of course, long-term includes heart and lung damage, lung cancer, loss of memory, lower ability to fight colds and flus. And we did mention about the weakened immune system, lower sperm count and movement, definitely as well, disrupts the menstrual period and ovulation and can cause infertility and impotency in men. So these are a few of the things that can result as a person using the substances. So in Jamaica, you know, sometimes relationship may fail because one party may feel as if the other party is they're unable to bear children. All of these things we have to take into consideration, right? We see here the cannabis brownie, as we did mention before. No, this is the one that many parents find very surprising. The lean, AKA purple junk, AKA dirty Sprite, syrup, whatever names that we call it. Now, this is a picture of what lean looks like. Looking at this, you may say, oh, this looks like a cold glass of grape juice. But in fact, this is lean. So what is lean, you may ask? Now, lean, AKA purple junk, is a recreational drug that is made from codeine cough syrup, Sprite that we would buy at a shop, and Jolly Ranchers or any hard flavored candy that, you know, comes with like a grape, whatever flavor you would like, persons would use it to make this product. So we see here a picture. So just like the regular Sprite in the shop, this is a cough syrup here, and here are some sweeties. So this person would have chosen the watermelon and the strawberry to give it this particular color. If they had chosen the blue or the green, you know, the color would have been different, right? And as I said, some persons, they may not have the Jolly Ranchers. They can choose a different sweet to make this concussion, right? Now, as I mentioned, the street names, the dirty Sprite, the syrup, purple tonic, purple drunk. So you may hear your child talking about the dirty Sprite. And in your mind, you think probably the Sprite fell from the child's hand and the Sprite bottle got dirty. But we have to be able to understand the conversation to know what it is. So who is using lean? Now, effects of lean includes dizziness, blurred vision, nausea, seizures, severe tooth decay, brain damage. And please note here at the bottom, it says overdose can cause seizures and death from respiratory failure or cardiac arrest. So you see a person can die as a result of consuming this substance because they don't know the amount of cough syrup to throw versus the Sprite and the sweet. So it's just, they just throwing out what it is, sometimes more cough syrup than what some persons would use, and that can cause them to have seizures and of course can die as a result of using this product. Now, lean can be addictive. Now, the codeine is an opioid which is found in the cough syrup. Now, we know that for cough syrup, we have the prescribed and the non-prescribed ones, right? So let's just say the DPH, you would go into the pharmacy and get them over the counter versus the ones that our doctors would prescribe for us, right? So opioids are what produce morphine effects, such as a pain relief, relief from tension and anxiety and euphoria, while codeine is a highly addictive opioid substance, because right now, I think in South Africa, one of those countries in South Africa, there is a codeine issue there right now. Many persons, most of the pharmacies have been sold out as a result of persons just consuming the codeine just like that because of the high that they get from it. They would say, you know, they feel sweet, they feel nice. It's like nothing is bothering them right now. So it's important. That's why we see where we have the prescribed one versus the non-prescribed ones, because it's something, as mentioned before, morphine effects. We have seen where in shows where a person would have who wants the morphine injections and they go through all means of ways to try and get it because it helps them to feel good, right? Now, codeine may have the ability to change the way a person experiences the world, but the drug also comes with a downside, can trigger an addictive process in a person who uses it on a regular basis. And codeine works by changing the brain's chemical signals involving pleasure and reward. And lean is so popular in the US, it is now smuggled by drug cartels. So we see here, this information, parents, you need to know, looking at your child drinking something, don't be afraid to ask them, what is it that you're consuming? You don't know what may be in the cup some of the times. And for the fathers online, I just want you to know that giving your child a light beer at the age of 15 doesn't make him a man, because that's a norm that some communities have to say, boy, you turn 15 or 16, drink a beer, you're a man. You are introducing these substances to your child's brain at an early age. Mothers as well too, even though parties should not be held, something may be keeping in the community you want to go, so you tip a little rum in the baby's feeding. It's not something that you should be doing, parents. You're setting up yourself for disappointments in the future. Your child's brain is being understanding, your child is getting to understand what the product is and will start to crave the product. So don't allow these things to come into your family. Don't allow these things to destroy your family. And the final drug that we have on the list here that we'll be looking at is called fentanyl. Now, fentanyl is not so popular in Jamaica, but we still decide to have persons know what it is, because even though it is around, we want you to understand that it, of course, can affect the family. So it's a synthetic opioid, first discovered in 1955 and was used as an anesthetic. It is a prescribed drug used for treating cancer patients with severe pains. Fentanyl has evolved to be used as an addictive to heroin, a combination which is triggering many incidents of overdose. And we hear a lot of persons, even on the news, especially overseas, where a lot of superstars would have died as a result of overdose of consuming all types of different drugs, and the body just cannot manage it. Our bodies are beautifully made. We are supposed to love ourselves, right? Now, street names for the fentanyl include Apples, China Girl, Chinatown, Dance Fever, Friend, Jackpot, King Ivory, and Murder Aid. So you hear all these names, we have to look out for it as well too. So fentanyl is a depressant, which means it decelerates the messages traveling between the brain and the body, right? Fentanyl belongs to a group of drugs known as opioids. fentanyl is about 80 to 100 times stronger than morphine and is 40 to 50 times more potent than heroin. As we mentioned, it's a synthetic drug, which means we call it a knockoff version of things, as we would know fake things, right? So we know fake versus real. So we see here, this is very alarming to note that it's 80 to 100 times stronger than morphine and 40 to 50 times more potent than heroin, right? So the risk of fentanyl includes increased risk of anoxic injury, where your body gets depleted of oxygen, harm to your personal life, and of course, increases the risk of overdose and death. Now, signs of overdose includes trouble walking or talking, pinpoint pupils, seizures, slow heart rate, shallow breathing, cold and clammy skin, right? So these are just a few of the things that we're looking at. So it says how to know if your child is using. We see changes in physical appearance. So if your child who was normally a clean and neat person starts to become very untidy, they don't want to take a bath, they don't want to brush their hair, their teeth, that is something to look out for. Becomes very secretive. We know sometimes teenagers can be secretive, but to an excess where they don't want you to go into their room, you know, they put locks on everything. They just keep looking out the window to see if somebody's looking at them, and changes in the home as well too. The way they eat, the way they behave, all of these things we have to really take into consideration to know if your child is using. And of course, what to do if your child is using is we recommend that you contact the National Council on Drug Abuse. So if you suspect your child from Lewisville is using, then you can contact the guidance counselor, who will then pass on the information to us. We do drug testing here at the agency. So for ganja, that's $500. And for ganja, cocaine, meth, that's $800. Alcohol is also $500 drug testing. And what we do is a urine sample. And of course, you will receive the result on the same day of testing. So it's not a case where it's another 3 to 4 days. Within 5 minutes, you will receive that testing. And depending on when we do that assist to know where your child fits, then of course, we offer counseling sessions. If they would have done experimental use, then we do a few educational sessions with them. However, if they are heavily users, then we do a more in-depth counseling session with them as well, and help them to just function back into society. You know, having the behavior change that we know our children, they need the help. It's about just putting them back on the right path, you know, knowing how to make important decisions, as we normally would use what we call the SODAS method. What is the situation? What are their options? What is the disadvantage, which means what can go wrong? What is the advantage? What can go right? And what is the solution? So parents, we're imploring you to just keep calm, say no to drugs, encourage your children too to say no to drugs, right? We want to ensure that, listen, across the board, a healthy person and drugs, it don't go hand in hand any at all. It doesn't make us smarter. It doesn't make us beautiful than we already are. However, it changes. We have a lot to lose more than we have anything to gain there. So we want to understand with your help that we're able to push this message to know that our children are being drug-free. That is the aim, for them to just keep focused and move ahead and doing what they can do. And of course, I have come to the end of my presentation. I know I probably went over a little bit, but I want to just continue to encourage parents to do the good job that you're doing. And if you're having challenges, of course, you can reach out to your team at Lewisville, any of the teachers, guidance counselor, dean, and of course, to be there, to have the support from the school. So put your part together. So it's a process. We each help each other. We want to go back to that time when we say it takes a village to raise a child, so that we can all look out for each other's children and to ensure that they're sticking to their right path. So I've now come to the end of my presentation. I do hope that the information that I shared with you today will be impactful and helpful to you for the future. And of course, if you have any questions, I'll be here. You can shoot within the chat box, or if permitted, you can unmute your mics. And I do hope that you're able to win a gift this morning. So over to you, Miss Williams, and thank you a whole lot as well, Lewisville High School.
Thank you so very much, Miss Roy, for coming. Oh my God, I have learned so much, and I know our parents have learned a lot too. Parents, do you have questions? If you have questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand. Ms. Roy is willing and able to assist you or to help you in any way. You may also go ahead and type your questions in the chat. Okay, since our parents don't have questions, Miss Roy, I think it is because you did such an excellent job. You did such an excellent job. No stone was left unturned. You had the pictures and it was just awesome. I do know our parents were listening. As a result, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give away some prizes. So if you do know the answer, and I'm going to ask Mr. Daly also to help me to monitor the raise hand signal to see which parent raise his or her hand first, just to identify the persons. All right. So ready? The first question we have here, when is your brain considered fully developed? Based on the presentation, when is your brain considered fully developed? Mr. Daly, can you say we have Petrina and we have Casey and Campbell? Can you say who was the first person?
I was not able to observe. They seem to have almost come up at the same time.
Petri.
Okay,
Petri,
no problem. Go ahead.
It would be Petri, no?
Okay, Petri.
First person.
Okay, go ahead. All right, please lower your hands. Parents, Miss Petrina, you may go ahead. Miss Petrina, you may unmute and respond.
At the age of 25, but I'm in the US, so you could give it to the other parents.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for
attending. My son is Kevin Miller. My son is Ravi Barak. So
I do know Ravi.
So yes, so I just come so I can give it to the other parent.
Also, thank you so very much. So Miss Campbell did type her response in the chat, and hers was correct also. So Miss Campbell, I'm going to be giving the number. Mr. Daly, you want to go ahead and share the number? As I'm not finding it back here. I'm gonna.
Is it a digital or a line?
When they text, then we can decide. Miss Campbell, is it a digital or a line phone? Okay, Mr. Daly, go ahead. I'm not sure if she is still on. The number, I have it here now, or the number is 482-4861. So I'm gonna ask Miss Campbell, and we have the names down, to text your number to Mr. Daly. His number is 482-4861. So just go ahead, send a message to him and indicate which, if you have a digital or Flow, which network your phone is attached to, and we will give you your credit. Thank you so very much. We're just going to take one more question here because we have other presenters.
Williams, sorry to interject, but there is also persons on Facebook say that they don't see any raise hand on YouTube, that they don't see any raise hand feature, so they put the answer in the chat.
Okay. Okay, so while we do that, okay, so we'll have to go ahead. It is a little bit difficult to monitor the chat and to give the responses. All right, so if we have a raise hand, if we have a raise, and it is difficult to say, Mr. Williams, because these parents are going to put the answer there. So if the answer comes up before the raise and or before we get to the raise, and then we'll take it. All right. I'm so sorry about that. Yes, we do have persons joining us on YouTube. Let me welcome you. We have people from all around the world joining us, which is so very good. Thanks to COVID. So something good came out of COVID, thanks to technology. Amazing stuff. All right, our next question. Easy questions, parents. If cannabis is consumed orally, how long before it is administered do we feel the effects? Okay, Miss Scott, is that to the question just given the answer? Miss Scott is monitoring our YouTube. Miss Scott, can you say? Miss Scott, one of our teachers here at Lewisville. Is this the question that I just posed?
No, I'm not currently on YouTube. I was just suggesting that you take the first answer.
Okay.
But I can go over there.
I'm gonna ask the person somebody on YouTube to answer. Somebody on YouTube, since somebody on our Zoom platform answered the first one. Is there anybody on YouTube who wants to respond? We have about 5 seconds left. We'd like to see the response within that time. Nobody on YouTube. I'm going to repeat the question. When cannabis is administered orally, how long before the effects can be felt? YouTube persons, yes, you can go ahead and type in the chat. Not seeing a response in the chat. Persons on our Zoom platform, if you want to go ahead. Is that question a little too difficult? All right,
maybe you could rephrase it.
Brianna is saying that she's not hearing. Are you persons hearing me? How many minutes after taking cannabis? How many minutes after taking cannabis will you start feeling the effects? How many minutes after taking? Okay, Georgia. Georgia, here we have an answer. Georgia, yes, thank you very much. 30 to 60 minutes. Thank you so very much. All right, so Georgia, you may go ahead and text. And I did see Miss Campbell say she has both networks. So we do have credits from both networks. You may go ahead and text our number 482-4861. That's 482-4861. Thank you so very much for participating. Parents, Miss Scott, your hand is raised. Please go ahead.
For those on YouTube, there's a delay. So there's about some seconds delay, or so they will hear the questions later than those on the Zoom channel.
Okay, I see. I apologize for that. What you could do, Ms. Scott, is even with the delay, because sometimes parents don't answer right away. When we move to our next presenter, we're gonna move to our next presenter. But what we're gonna do is have the question thrown out to those persons on YouTube, and only persons on YouTube are expected to answer, so as not to rob them of a chance of answering the question. Okay, all right. We know that persons are using data, and as a result, persons might not be able to hold on for very long. As a result, we're going to move to our next presenter, and we are going to be asking Mr. Curlew, or Dean of Discipline, if any parent visits our school compound, you will see Mr. Curlew, unless he was on leave some time ago. Early September, but once he is at work, he's not on leave, you will see Mr. Curlew. He is our dedicated Dean of Discipline. We want to welcome him. So the next voice you hear will be Mr. Curlew, and he is going to be introducing our next presenter, Mr. Camp. Mr. Curlew, you may go ahead, sir.
A pleasant morning to you, Miss Williams. All protocols are observed. Our next presenter, ladies and gentlemen, is a wife, a mother. She is a guidance counselor by profession, and she works out of the Greater Portmore High School. She is a graduate of Michael University College and South Wales University in England. She attends the Bayside New Testament Church of God. She is an assertive and a confidential person, very jovial and friendly. She loves to help, and she lives by the philosophy, I am created by God, with God, and through God. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Natalie Harris, our next presenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. To Miss Shalinika Williams, Chairperson, Chairman of the Board of Management, Ms. Judith Townsend, Principal, Mr. Duken Williams, Vice Principal, Mrs. Donna Cranston Brown, teachers, parents, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown, it is, for that wonderful introduction as well. As was said, I'm Natalie Harris Mackenzie, and today we are here to have a discussion on a very interesting topic that many of us know about because we are called by that name. And it is a topic that from time to time we have some amount of hang-ups or drawbacks with. And so based on the mandate from the Ministry of Education and the National Parenting Committee, we are here to celebrate a month, a moment in time designated to a group of people who saw it fit to become such persons. And I'm talking about parents. To start my presentation, I want to share a little video with you. I hope you will take from it what is necessary. You might find some humor, I don't know, but let us see as we get down into this discussion. I hope everybody is hearing me. Give me some thumbs up in the different spaces that you're at to let me know that you are hearing me as we proceed. Thank you very much. I see that hand, Miss Roy. I'm just waiting on the video to come up. While we're waiting on the video to come up, I am going to ask whatever space that we're in that we take a moment to reflect on, how we're feeling right now, whatever the adjective that comes to mind. I'm going to ask you to type it in the chat so we can get our discussion going, because we're going to be talking with each other today. I want for us to feel comfortable, to raise your hand, to ask your questions, because Mrs. Mackenzie does not know everything. I'm here to learn from you. Lewisville has become my school as well, and I thank you for affording me the opportunity to be in your space once more. So now that we are here, we're going to be talking to each other. We're going to be sharing. So until YouTube decides that it wants to show my video, we're going to continue with our presentation. All right, so parenting. According to Britannica, parenting is said to be how you raise children, how you provide for them through the protection and care that you give in order for them to grow up to be adults, and for them to have healthy development too in that growing up stage. And when we look on the principle behind this whole positive parenting impacting generations theme that we are working with for Parent Month this year, the principle behind it, as was outlined, is that children are born good and with the desire to do the right thing. So therefore, parents should teach proper future behavior instead of punishing past misbehavior. Now, if we are to practice positive parenting to impact generations, looking on what is said here, let us focus on some of the words in this principle. Parents should teach proper future behavior instead of punishing past misbehavior. But we will touch back on this some more. Just keep that sentence in line. And then let's look at the reality. The reality before us is this. Many parents put on a happy face despite feeling sad and overwhelmed by negative emotions. And maybe all of us on the platform are saying, I can attest to that. Although parents love their children deeply and unconditionally, parenting at times can become very taxing. And that's why I really wanted for you to see this video so you can have a better idea of exactly what I'm talking about. Or maybe you know already, but seeing it from another perspective will bring it home. Will bring it closer to home so you understand that this whole thing of parenting is not just something that you do. It is well, let us see what it is.
To ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Because you're a Caribbean parent.
Let me know if you're hearing.
At what age?
Yes, we're hearing.
Okay, good. I don't know why YouTube is choosing today of all the days, but
your children lock their room door.
Locked door?
Yeah. Yes.
Never. Want me take that door off the hinge? Locked. There ain't nobody locking no door in my house.
Does anything in your house belong to your children?
Belong?
Yes,
belong. I pay the bills. I buy the food. I clothe and feed them. Ain't nothing in there belong to them. Not even their life.
Okay.
Belong. What is that?
What do you call your child's girlfriend or boyfriend?
What do I call?
Yes.
What you mean by that?
Like if you're telling your friend your child has a girlfriend or boyfriend,
I just say they have a friend.
Okay. At what age are your children considered adults?
Never. Adult.
Wow.
Never.
What would you do if your child back talks you?
Back talk who?
You.
Me?
Yes.
That one called teethless. Teethless. Ain't no child of mine back talking me.
What do you mean by teethless? What are you gonna
Your parent
do?
from the Caribbean, right? You know just what I mean.
Yes, but I just
they get in these hands right inside their mouth.
This is part 2 of the questions.
Okay.
If you beat your child and your child begins to cry, what would be your response?
Shut up before I give you something to cry for. What you crying for?
If you beat your child and they do not cry, what would be your response?
Oh, so you think you is man or woman? You is the man or woman in this house. I beat you and you ain't crying. Okay.
But you just told them not to cry. You told them to shut up.
Next question, please.
If you are about to hit them and they block the hit, what is your response?
Oh, so you want to fight me back? That's what we do. We blocking hits. You want to fight me back?
But they're not fighting you back. They're blocking the hit. They're not fighting you back. If your child gets in trouble and you ask them to explain and they begin to explain, what is your response?
Shut up!
If you ask them to explain and they shut up, what is your response?
Answer me. I asked you a question. Answer me.
But you just told them to shut up. Mm-hmm. So why would... What?
I finished with this interview. You all come take this microphone off of me.
What
come
did I
take
say?
this microphone off of me.
Go and take the microphone off.
She is too no manners.
How am I no manners? I'm just asking.
She know what she's doing. She fixing the questions in a way so I can look like I don't have no sense. You're a very, very wicked woman. You're a wicked interviewer.
Rebecca, just don't answer.
Take this microphone off of me, yeah?
All right. Now that we have seen this video, I am going to be speaking to some persons now. Let me see who I have here. We have seen the video and I am seeing Tamika Warburton. That is an unusual last name. Miss Warburton, can you unmute, please? Are you hearing me? How about Holly Daly? Is that person hearing me? Go, Holly Daly, are you hearing me?
That's one of our teachers. Maybe, I don't know if she has left the device. Maybe she had a class or something.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's go down to Miss Yolanda White. Is that person a parent?
Also a colleague.
Wow, that maybe one of the colleagues should answer then, or you said they might be in class. All right. I want us to talk about what we just saw from this clipping a while ago. Can any one of us relate to what we saw? Whether or not you are someone who you operate like this as a parent, but from time to time, have any of these thoughts ever come to your mind in terms of how you parent? Anybody? Your parenting style? Is that the way your parent grew you? Can anybody attest to that? Okay, not getting any response.
Yes,
but
miss, that's common among us. That's common among Caribbean parents. It's common about the way we grew up. as children. I'm sure I can attest. Parents on the platform might be shy. Parents, remember, this is a workshop, so we are just here to share with each other.
Shy.
we are here to share with each other. There is no wrong or right answer. All right, we just want to get your input. So don't be afraid to unmute your microphones and give your views. We are here to help. We are here to share. We are here to build each other. Okay.
Thank you so much, Miss Williams. But yes, we can attest to what we just saw. And maybe it sounded humorous to how she was speaking, but this is some of the things that parenting, being a parent will push us to do, right? And I'm not saying what she said was the right way to go about solving those situations. However, going through the situation, sometimes the right or the appropriate way to do it does not necessarily come out first. And that is why there's a month designated to parents. There is a day for us to come together to talk. And also that is why we have different organizations. That is why we have different persons who are so tasked to be able to touch base with you, as we say from time to time, to give you some support, for you to acknowledge that, things might not be going so well. And so I need somebody to bounce off a few ideas on. So you may not feel comfortable talking in this setting. However, let me just encourage you, in order for us to continue along this journey, we cannot do it alone. And the old adage still applies. It takes a village to raise a child. Nowadays, yes, we have to be very careful because the village seems to have a lot of escape routes and loopholes and all of those things, in terms of some persons are not so on the up and up, on the straight and narrow, and we have to be careful who we allow in our children's lives and in our homes. But let it not be said that you never try to reach out to somebody or an organization in your time of need, or when you are lacking some the strength and the support system to go on. Now, what is this thing all about? Parenting is one of the most amazing experiences ever. And I can attest to that. My daughter is only 10, but being a guidance counselor for 15 years, I have parent and parent and parents or more. But guess what? It can easily be called the most tedious of tasks too. Because as I was saying before, the know-how, we don't go into this job with the know-how. We go into this job because we're born into a family, we were born into a society, we were born into a particular yard where the whole business of family, of having a child, of having children, is the order of the day. Some families, they thrive on the fact that the females in the home can bear and rear children. That is one of the hallmarks of some families, and they will always have those bragging rights to say, yes, their family has so many children, and this daughter has so many, that son got so many, and so on and so forth. So these parenting takes on different forms, different meanings for different set of people. But for you, how do you parent? How do you do it? And as the statement at the bottom says, the society, education, tradition, family, life in whole, technology, and even our children, they are the roadmaps on this parenting journey. Because as we all know, there is no prescribed text that can actually teach you how to parent. Authors have written books, yes, but it is written from their perspective, or they might take it from the perspective of other parents. And it may or may not include you, because you have Caribbean parents who write parenting books too. However, when it gets into your personal space, what do you do? What are some of the things that make it unique to you as a parent? What are some of the things that allow your children to say, this is my parent, my parents did this, this is how my parent grew me? So these are the things that we're talking about when we are getting into the whole business of positive parenting and the impact that we want it to have. This second video, I hope it will play much better than the first one, but I would love for you, I'm showing these to you so you can have a different perspective, or you can see these things from other people's perspective, and then form your conclusions as to the way forward. Here goes the second one.
So I've got my essay written, and I've been working on it for about a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly to edit. Okay, so here's my essay, and I'm going to click through Grammarly suggestions in the right panel.
You here today. We are having a problem with your daughter.
My daughter?
She's being disrespectful to other students.
No, wait. My nice, clean, good body daughter. Yes, let me tell you something. Me make sure I tell my parents that she not take no girl like. We not take girl lick in the ghetto, a bad place we come from. So we not take girl lick. Me tell herself no girl lick and respect clock them back.
But Miss Lisa, this is a school.
No. The ghetto is a school itself. You understand what I say? And we in a ghetto, we not take lick, because if we take lick, we all get marked for the rest of our life.
No, but because we are a school, we cannot have students disrespecting other students.
This is not a matter of disrespecting. You get what I said? The other day a girl stepped to me, you know. And when me diss her, you know, when me done her nice, you know, miss, I celebrate, you know, like good celebrate.
We cannot have students disrespecting other students.
Miss, first of all, me teach my people everything. From day one, teach her the ropes. Because I know how you work things in the ghetto. You get what I say? I don't know what kind of fitness you will teach, you know. But you see my picnic? My picnic is a different kettle of fish. You get what I say? First of all, our father did a long time gunman kill our father. Not to mention our grandfather. So I have nobody to help me with her. I just me alone and God. You get what I say, miss? So I don't know play thing that she have to defend herself. Me personally give her a knife to walk with in her bag and she take you out. So she's not allowed with it at school. You get what I say?
But Miss Lisa, we can't have this kind of attitude.
Just relax yourself, man. So you have one, so you know what I'm saying? Not because I'm my daughter. Miss me teach my people manners. Me tell her so when she pass big people, she's supposed to say man in her so. You understand what I say? Because that they would learn. But at the end of the day, she's not supposed to make no girl list her step to her. But bad to bad, miss. Since I'm there, me want to talk to you about something. I want to talk to you about though is, why you make the picnic them uniform so long? You want to sell material? No. The picnic them hot, you know. You want to see the picnic them that they long something like them are none. Them are none. You don't want to put on a long something for them? Miss, me not understand how comes you for tell me, say, my picnic disrespectful. First thing, me no make my girl short and nah. She have everything she wants. So when I talk about shoes, she have Nike, she have Reebok, not to mention Clarks. But we go for days without eating no food to make sure it's my picnic the latest brand, you know. Because that matter to me as long as she look good, me look good. You get what I say, miss? And that you do too. You look good. You look like you have a rich man and mind you.
Okay, well, you know school have rules.
Miss, I try to cut out the argument.
No, we're just trying
you look
to
like you have a rich man. Not true.
We are just trying to keep on the topic while you're here.
And you know, say the other day my daughter turned 15. She have a nice big man where take care of her. The man about 40 something. And the man take care of her and the man mind her. And the man send her to go to school. Enough time when I have no money. She just go to the man and the man give her money and the man will give her something to give me so. You get what I say? And sometimes like if him see me, he will give me a nanny or something just to buy a drink. I'ma take it. Yeah, then she come home with one black and blue. Yeah, come tell me say she go done with the man. Me say if you ever done with the man, girl, you come out of my house. Because the man of mine are, me tell her she should suck up the lick. You understand what I say? She have to take the lick because enough girl get lick and not get nothing. She get something that take lick. You get what I say? So she not no choice. She's supposed to get the lick. She's supposed to get lick now and then. You understand? A little lick for shake her up.
Well, Miss Lisa, I have an idea. I am going to recommend you to a family counselor. I think you and Kim need to see a family counselor.
Miss, which pump to get them the money they from? Miss, no, which pump to get them money they from? I don't understand.
Calm down, Miss Lisa.
No, but Miss, I don't have no money.
Better yet, we have a guidance counselor at the school.
Guidance counselor chat people business too much.
Miss Lisa, this is for Kim's own good.
Miss, me tell Kim say all she have to do a graduate. I don't want her to do nothing else. I want her to get a nice look work at the whole year when she done graduate. She can get 3 or 5 subjects, no matter to me. I just want graduate. I just want her for graduate because it will me never graduate. But it read from me about 14 or 15. So one out of 2. But it read from them time there. So I want her to do a graduate, then she can think about to get pregnant after graduate. You understand what I say? Get her work done at the China man store. So I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk to her for you. And make sure you know what I want. You understand what I say? You done, miss?
So I'm going to set an appointment for you on Monday.
Miss, on Monday, I go up on the road. On Monday, I do my business. On Monday, I do my look.
Miss Lisa, which day is available for you?
Any day apart from Monday.
Alright, so we'll do it for Tuesday at 10 a.m.
No. You say Tuesday now. A Tuesday, I'm going to stay with my boyfriend. You understand? In a country in Leeds.
Miss Lisa, stop. This is getting out of hand.
Alright. Me stick to Wednesday then. Wednesday alright for you?
Okay, so Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Alright, see you Thursday at 10 a.m.
All right, so there we have another perspective from a parent who lives in another location, a parent who, this time it's a single parent, and she was able to outline, I don't know if you caught on to some of the things that she outlined in her presentation. You can type them in the chat. But forcibly it came out that she was a single mom, and she had she had to save face. She had persons has a perception of her in the community, and she wants to uphold that perception. So basically, she's a parent who would do whatever it takes to ensure that that look, that view, that perspective that persons have of her and her family, her children in the community is maintained. Now, many of us will have our different opinions based on what we would consider right or wrong or appropriate. However, at the end of the day, let us also remember that one of the main things that drives how we parent is where we are living, who we are living among, and who we are living with. So looking on these 2 videos, the similarities and the differences are clear. And I know many things will stand out for you as parents, educators who are listening, who are watching. Many things will stand out for you. However, how are you going to emphasize this whole positive parenting and allow it to impact across generations? Is it something that we can go to a book and get, or is it something that we're gonna have to work together to achieve? Because we might be a part of various groups. Know that Corona is about, we notice that we are being invited to a lot of different groups based on the different socialization that we would have done, that we would have had with different groups of people. So we are in WhatsApp groups with them, and we are able to communicate. But in these groups, is there anything that is directly linked to, how you parent? How do you get support? Is there any supportive link there that you can easily call on? You notice the parent also mentioned that she does not want to talk to any guidance counselor because guidance counselor chat people business, and she may have had that experience, so she can directly speak to that. And that is one of the other things too. So here I am talking about groups, and persons might be saying like what this lady is saying. No, no, no. I don't want to be a part of any support group, because when I go in those groups and I disclose, as the term, one of the terminologies, we disclose, or I seek to share my opinion based on my experiences. And then chances are after I leave the group, you might hear, depending, because some of us live in small communities, you might hear that this is what is going on with me, or this has happened in my household. And I know we don't want it to be so. So persons will have their different, their varying reasons as to why the support group may not work for them. But don't shortchange yourself. Look around. Think about the people who you communicate with daily. Think about when they're talking to you, some of the things they're saying. You never know. This person might be able to become a sounding board for you. But through it all, you also have your children at home. You can sit down and talk to them. You know why? They are the ones who you are parenting. And many times, as a guidance counselor, I've come to realize that we don't really know our children. We spend a lot of time with them, yes, but we don't really know them. And because of that, we are parenting the way our parents did it for us, and not realizing that these children are from a different era, different generation, a different time period. And as such, things have changed, things are different, things have improved, yes. Some things we wish it would have been better, some things remain the same, but guess what? Children, every generation comes with their new set of behaviors, their new set of ideologies and everything. And as the author mentioned, when I just started to say that it seemingly these children are born with some things intact already. And just like how you would say when a baby is born, you see this child was born talking, or they are born being smart. And that is a debatable topic, because you have theorists who have said that children are empty slates ready to be filled. And we can argue that point too. So the generations that we want to impact, who are they? Who are they? Let us get a glimpse into who. Maybe it's this generation, we're not sure, but let us see, then you can make your decision after. While we're waiting on YouTube to come up with the video, we're talking about impacting, positive parenting impacting generations. And I want us to think about what impact do you want your parenting skills, your parenting techniques? Because yes, you do use skills and techniques, whether you believe it or no. What impacts would you want those skills to have, those techniques to have? Couple years down the road, what are some of the things that you want your children or anybody who you have parents to be saying about you? Thinking about yourself as a parent, how do you rate yourself? Do you plan on continuing to parent past a certain age? Or can you stop parenting past a certain age? Is parenting a lifelong thing? Think about those things. And when you just became a parent, were you ready? Are you still ready? Because I can answer some of those questions while we wait. I can tell you, I don't think any of us, no matter how much we say we plan, because some of us, yes, we plan for our children. You see, when, all right, after the baby is born and we come home and all of that good stuff and we're excited and everybody come to look for the baby and all of that. After that, when you are left to go through the other intricacies, when you're alone at home with your baby, if your partner is there or no, or other family members are there or no, after you are left now with all of those intimate details to figure out, this is when the reality starts to kick in. Because how many of us throughout a parenting journey we never cry yet and say, Father God, what is this that I got myself into? What is this? And then it sometimes gets even more tedious on us and complicated when we start to think that maybe we have failed, because what we set out to accomplish with our children, by the time they reach a certain age, we don't see them displaying those behaviors, and we get very it gets very nerve-wracking, and we sit down and we start to wonder if it's the right thing that we did, and it just goes on and on. Let's try and see if this generation is the one who is going to bring it home for us. Because maybe that generation doesn't really want us to get deep down into their business and to find out exactly, what is it all about and how can we better parent them. So let's see if this one will do any better for us. If not, then we'll just move on. But the impact, and I heard Miss Williams mentioned about impact that we would want to have on our children. We want them to grow up to be strong and confident individuals, being able to hold their own, as we say, and to represent us. I was talking to a class this morning, and I was saying to them that sometimes when they're asked to make amends for the wrongs that they have done, maybe they see it as us embarrassing them. And I was saying to them, don't take it as such, because it is a chance for you to right a wrong that was done, and for you to also teach yourself and your classmates that this thing happened and we're going to learn from it so it does not happen again. So this is one aspect of the impact that I think we should all try to have when we are parenting. And we're not just parenting for, say, the children who are born at a certain time. It's across generations. So it is wide. It is spread out wide. And because of that, the way how we parent the 20-year-old that is in our house cannot be the same way. And you can disagree. It cannot be the same way that you think you are going to parent the 15-year-old or even the 10-year-old that you now have, depending on the age group. Now, when things start to go haywire, go all over the place, go downhill, whichever term you want to use, what are some of the things that we realize that has been happening in society? Look at this first picture. And it could have been the reverse, where the man held the baby and the woman is running, don't it? But In this particular image, the baby is crying and mommy face look as if she's about to pass out in terms of how angry she looks. And daddy dressing his work clothes and him hand up in the air and he's running because baby is crying and everybody is frustrated. And guess what? The baby not going to stop crying anytime soon, you know, because they feed off our energy. And we are angry, we become angry, we stay angry. And because of that, the children, and guess what happened? Nothing is wrong with being angry, you know. It is what we do and how we react to the situations when the anger comes about. And yes, one of the ways we react is to get angry. But if every time the situation comes up, we choose to get angry, then guess what? This is, it's going to be a play-by-play situation all the time. It's always going to start and end in the same way. And then we are going to say, see, this comes like what we call deja vu. It's the same thing happen every time. Now, if we can readily identify that the same thing happens every time, what do you think should happen? Don't you think one of us can do something about it? Because it takes two of us to ensure that a baby comes into this world, don't it? So at the end of the day, whether or not one partner is there after the child is born, it stands to reason that, you know, the person who is directly taking care of the child, rearing the child to ensure that he or she grows up properly, that person will now have to be at a place where, you know, look at the reality, face up the reality and say, look here, I have this child and I don't want the situations that happen to me reach this child. Yes, some of them might, but let me take the steps. And many times persons have said it. I don't want what happened to whomever happened to my child. And guess what? Maybe some of us are just saying it. And I'm not going to sit here and paint a pretty picture, parents. It's not pretty, especially in these times. It is scary out there for everybody. But the fact that we are in charge of the children, many days we have to, not many days, every day, we have to put ourselves in harm's way, so to speak, to ensure that our children are protected and that they are kept safe. Because we brought them into this world, and we are, just as how we pray to God and ask him to protect us and to keep us from all evil, it's the same way our children look up to us. Even if they become rude and disrespectful at times, they want that from us. And they may not verbalize it to you, but they will say to others that, you know what, maybe I expect my mother to do this or my father to do this. And I said, even though they know that they are not doing what they're supposed to do as children, they still have certain expectations of us as adults. And looking on the next picture, both parents now are arguing. So this is where do we go from here? This is another thing, another way that we go to. An argument develops and we keep on going at each other, not just with each other, you know. We keep on going with sometimes everybody in the house is in turmoil. Now we are online, and from time to time we have to call parents to find out why the child is not logging on, because we genuinely don't know at school and we want to know to see if we can assist. And I called this parent, and when I called, I had to say to her, Mommy, can you come out of the noise so I can speak with you because I'm not here? And she said, nice, miss, but I'm in my room today. Sorry. So I said, okay. So what is happening? Because I am hearing persons cursing and shouting and all of that. And I said to her, where is your son? And she said, he's sitting right here on class. So I said, but I was at a loss for words. And she said, Miss, you all right? Why you call? I said, yes, man. I am just at a loss now as to how is it that he's learning when there's so much noise. And she said, Miss, this is a regular thing. I saw SST every day. I said, yes. But at the end of the day, Mommy, we have to think about the fact that he's not going to get what he showed. And whenever we call you, you might end up getting perturbed and upset that we're calling so many times. But he's not really learning because you might think that he's on the class, but he's logging off because whenever he's to unmute, he doesn't want to for fear that we will hear what is happening in his background. And she was saying she never realized that when he unmutes, we will be hearing him. We will be hearing what is happening in the house. I say, yes. And he's listening to what is happening in the house and listening to us as well. So it's not going to work. So it just goes to show you, see, sometimes our homes We want them to be our safe haven, our place of rescue from the outside world and everything it has to offer. But I know that sometimes for various reasons, our homes are not really as comfortable as we want it to. And it is because of the varying situations that, you know, us as adults are in. Sometimes our children will help us to be in these situations too, because sometimes they go out and they put themselves in some, you know, get themselves in some situations that we have to in turn now go and try to, you know, to help to alleviate. And some of us, you know, when we go to alleviate situations, we don't end up doing it the right way. Because you have a link and I have one, and everybody and their mother have a link. And because of that, the many links now start to hook up, and in so doing, we still have not yet reached the point where the child is, you know, taught that whatever happened should not have happened and taught the right way to deal with it. So these are some of the varying things on the side that we have to deal with as parents. And coupled with that, we have the home part that we still have not fixed yet. So the third picture is not really a typical one that many of us as Jamaican parents want to, you know, get to, just as what the parent in the last video alluded to. She don't really want to be in any meeting with anybody, because people are going to talk her business and the time is not going to work for her because she has to do this, she has to do her hustling and all of that stuff. So this picture, the third picture, is a hope that we have as guidance counselors, as educators. We have families too. And believe it or not, we go through struggles. We have quarrels at our home just like anybody else. But guess what? We have learned, and yes, we still get upset. So don't get me wrong. I am not sitting down here holier than thou to say whatever, but I am saying, end of the day, your mental health as parents, it is important. And sometimes it doesn't matter who the person is and how much they come at you with certain things at the front of your mind, not the back, at the front of your mind. You must always remember that you are important and you have persons who depend on you, persons like little people. You have to care of your children, and maybe you have other people's children in the community, because some of us, based on the very fact that we are a parent, we without even thinking, we help to parent other people's children. We pass them on the road and we see them doing some things that are unseemly, and we would have said something to them. Yes, sometimes this stopping to talk to them might turn out to be more than what we would have wanted. But some people as parents, they can't really help themselves. If they see a child, they are going to take the time out to speak with them, especially when they're at the bus stop or they're on the bus or just walking on the road. And that is how some of us have taken on this role. And that brings me now to the next picture, where we see the ideal situation that we would have wanted. The ideal does not mean necessarily a nuclear family, because in Jamaica, we have some very good extended families where everybody live. It's a big land space, and you have grandmother and grandfather house, auntie house, uncle house, and everybody live there and they live peacefully. And we realize that the children, they have this family unit is very big, and so they get to have persons who they can bounce off ideas on. They have a confidant and so on and so forth. So for these extended families, they don't have to go outside of the family to seek support, to get approval, to get somebody to walk them through the process when they are trying to find their identity. So it does not just happen for the nuclear family, it happens for other types of families as well. Even the single parent family. We have had some lovely families. They are single parents. Mommy works, and the work might not come every day, but she tries. Same thing for daddy. I've had some wonderful fathers. They are the ones who take care of the children. Mommy is not around, and daddy does it. So looking on this picture now, it is, I'm not saying it has to be this way, but this is to encourage you that remember your mental health is important. And if your parenting is to impact all the different generations, then you're going to have to take stock of what is happening with you, take stock of your well-being, take stock as to where you strike, where you put that boundary, where you decide that, you know, this is it. This is it because I have me to consider. And if I don't take care of me, then I will not be around to take care of everybody else. So there are times when people might want to look at you and say, but look how she get up and she dress up and, but guess what? Sometimes, as I heard a speaker said once, many days, all she does, get up, take her shower, put on her nice clothes, fix up herself, spray up her nice perfume, and she just walk around, go around to her backyard river, take some pictures, and then she come back in and she logs on to her class and she does it like that. Sometimes the students comment her and say, yes, miss, you look very pretty today. And she tell them, yes, that's how I feel today. Because she has to do that to convince, to tell herself it's going to be okay, even when staring her in the face is the situation, is the problems of the world, the problems of life, everything. So whatever it takes for you, ensure that you fix you first. Then you can assist in fixing them. And them can either mean the children, it can mean that a person's in your home, it can mean the committee you're on at church, it can mean the one you're at for your PTA, and it can mean the community ones, all of those. But you have to start with you. So yes, some selfishness might come in, but hey, you have to start with you. Remember, I know the Bible says that God created all of us in his likeness and his image. And if that is the case, and if we look at God as this supreme being and he's good and all-knowing and all-faithful, then by God, don't we want to emulate some of those characteristics and take it onto ourselves so that when we present ourselves to the world not only see us as just, a mere woman, a mere man, but, somebody of worth. Because believe it or not every day that we dress up and go out, it is in the most expensive of things or the brands or stuff. No, but whatever we have, we use it and we fix up ourselves. Why is it that, as this lady was saying in the video, she says she will go hungry to ensure that her children gets what she's supposed, whether it's the name brand or what. All of us at one time or the other would have made this statement. And many of us have gone hungry. Maybe not to give them the brands, but to give them the things that we know they need. Now at most schools it's SBA times. Some SBAs call for the children to do practical things. A lot of the subjects that they are involved in the vocational areas, they include practicals, and the practicals are very expensive because they have to try out the dishes first, ensure that they're okay, and then they and the teacher will come to the conclusion that this is the one that they're doing for their exams. And then you have to buy those things all over in order for them to do the final work. And in all of that, sometimes you are not confident that they are going to pull through because you know your child and you see that they're not studying, they're not practicing, and you have all these thoughts going. But guess what? In the back of your mind or the front, somewhere in your mind, you are still cognizant of the fact that they're yours. And you don't want it to be said that you never tried. So even though you're not 100%, when you reach a SMS, me I go pay the money here. But honestly, me I do it with a heavy heart or something like that. You'll hear parents say, but guess what? It's not that you bring home back the money, you pay the money. So what is that telling you? Yes, you pay it because they are your children and you're doing what you're supposed to do for your children. You're crying or you're crying, as I said before, as the lady said, you go hungry. But you do it out of what? Yes, it is love. Yes, it is sacrifice and all of those things because you want for your children maybe what you never got and maybe what you got and then some. So every new day brings new challenges, and because the challenges come every day, guess what? All of you have risen and are still rising to the occasion. And I know we have some fathers on the platform, whether YouTube or Zoom, and I want to just take the time out to tell you how much I appreciate you. I over the years, we have seen in all spheres of our lives, we are parenting. The cries from parenting is that the daddies, the men are not around. And I look at men as being strong. I grew up with a very strong father, and that taught me to consider men to be strong. And sometimes when I see some men behaving as if they don't know their strength and their worth, it grieves my heart. I like to see strong men who stand up to their responsibility, men who show everybody else that, look here, I'm a man. I might not be working the typical 9 to 5. I'm just up in a jacket and tie, but my job, whatever it is that I do, it is my job. As a man, I'm providing for my family. I'm taking care of my business. I'm holding my own. So whoever you are on this platform, you're a male, I want to applaud you. I want to applaud the effort, the time you have taken. And sometimes you will hear a person say, no, sir, the man them now go log on. But I want to thank you today. Thank you so much, men, for logging on and for listening, because these situations, they concern everybody, whether the child is yours biologically or you take up the child along with everything else that you have taken on. Yes, you are the parent. When you go to school to represent, even to drop off a voucher or a piece of paper, you are the parent at that time. And while you mostly try to smile and work around the different things, I know there are times when you just can't keep your cool and you end up saying some things, doing some things that, according to what society says and according to what we have grown up to believe and to know, that it's not right. And it might end up harming you or your children or even other parents too. Let us remember, guys, that there are persons, some of us go to church, persons at church, persons in your community, and the school where your child or your children goes. There are always persons there who you can speak with. It's not a one-man band. You're not alone. Everybody have at least one person that they trust and confident enough to speak with. And when we reach out to these persons, we are going to, or we should realize if they have such a character, that it was a long time that we should have spoken to them, a long time ago. But because of all that has happened to us, and parents, looking back on past situations, I have realized that many parents, such as yourself, how you are parenting is how you were brought up. And how you were brought up, when you sit down to reason it out, it wasn't what you like. But being in it at the time, you never had a choice. And it wasn't what you like. And then guess what? You pledged to the different, but the similar situations that you grew up in and that has happened to your parents, they're happening to you now. And what you ended up doing is you forgot all about those plans that you made for your child, for your new family that you're going to have. And you start to do just like what your parents did. And maybe an older brother or sister, maybe another family member pointed out to you and said, see, my mama usually doing the same thing you do now, and I don't like it. And guess what? It might be the truth, and you end up getting angry because you realize the truth is hitting you in the face. And you might go and confess to somebody and say, no, it's true that that girl was talking, it's really true, And then when you reach that part of the bridge now, what are you going to do? This means you have the opportunity now to pull back, to pull up. And one of the best ways to do that is men, I don't know if many of us take the time out to do these things. Talk to the children, talk to them. We're upset with them, because them just rude, them just disrespectful. We just get the call from school. We just get somebody from the community just tell us something, or another sibling just come say something that they did or whatever, and we're mad. But guess what? I think we need to talk to them more, and that talking to them brings healing for us too. And I'm not just saying this, parent, because I am the trained guidance counselor. No, I am saying this because I am a mother. I am saying this because I have dealt with enough parents so I can say this. Talk to them. Talk to them. You don't have to stay in the house. And if it's more than one you have, you do individual talks and then you do a group thing. Talk to them. Trust me. Before you even try the other suggestions of finding somebody else to talk to your children. Well, we're going to tie out the goat. We're going to do whatever we're doing. You walk into the bus stop and them can walk with you because it's safe. Say to them this, Natalie, walk with me this morning. I want to say something to you. So let your brother and sister stay, you walk with me. Don't be afraid to do that. They are yours. And I have had situations where parents get upset with me. Why? Because all the things that I have to say to them is what they wanted to hear from their children. And then they're upset and thinking that I'm the one who was there questioning their child. And no, Sometimes the children come, and when they come and they start to talk, educators on the platform, you can attest to this. Sometimes you have to say, look here now, we have to stop now. Even some teachers come and them say, Miss, me have to run left that one day, no, me couldn't take no more because miss some of the things that they're saying, I don't think I should be the one to hear that. And this is just how kids are. When you reach a stage in their life, sometimes where they just want somebody to talk to, and if they find you as somebody who will listen, they're just going to open up to you and start talking. So if parents, if you want most of these discussions to happen in your home with you, so you can sort it out, then guess what? Teach them through your behavior. The school-wide positive behavior framework that is operating in schools now is a program that speaks to the fact that you have to teach the behaviors and reteach them. Reteach meaning, yes, you just tell them last week. I not only tell them, you show them the correct behavior, and this week they reverted to the wrong one. Guess what? You're going to reteach, because if you are doing it at home and we are doing it at school, chances are we will capture some more of them that we can lead along the right path. And as I said, we are not going to get everybody, but let it not be said that a few of them that pass through our hand, let it not be said that we never at least, try to support or give support to help them to become better persons. All of us are alive, you see, and because we're alive, I believe we always have the chance to make it right, to make amends. And that's another thing that we need to do as parents, to bring some peace to ourselves. Talk to, and the self-talk thing, you have to do that, to talk to yourself. Remind yourself of who you are. Remind yourself of what you stand for. And when you do that, you speak to your children. Let them know. When I'm talking to you and you shout at me, I hurt. You don't have to say it in the standard English, but you let them know. When you shout at me, it hurts. I am your mother. And as your mother, as your father, as your auntie, as your uncle, we need to respect each other. But talking and shouting at me shows no respect. And if you show me no respect, what do you think is going to happen? How can you not respect someone who is taking care of you, ensuring that your needs are met to the best way I can? Shouldn't that person be respected? Have some conversation. What is it that you like about living in this family? What is it that you don't like? Because we need to look on both sides. Speak to them and not at them. And as I said before, yes, I know the shouting is going to come, and some of the words that we don't want to hear them say, we are there saying it. So we need to take those things into consideration. And that's why my first point at the top of this slide says, fix you first. Because fixing you, maybe all of you might not be fixing now, because guess what? We are here a long time now, and we have taken on a lot of baggages and a lot of things. But start the process. Start the process. Allow for today to be a day where you set up yourself to say, look here now, I'm going to change a few things. Not everything can change, but the most important things that readily affect the children, let us start there, because we want to grow them a certain way, but the hindrance in the way is sometimes because we are not at the point to actually remedy what needs to be remedied with them, because we have not fixed it within us. And I'm not calling anybody weak or fearful. We are confident people who from time to time, we are falling short because of life and its situations. Nothing is wrong. What is wrong is if we stay there and don't do anything to improve it, to make it better. Because ultimately, we want our children to reason and think for themselves, so that when things happen, you can stand back and watch them in action and say, yes, that is my son, that is my daughter. I helped to grow that little girl, that little boy. These are the things we want to point out. Sometimes watching the news and we see them on the television, they are the police officers, the soldiers, and it just makes us feel good. I have had instances in recent times where I met up back on some of my past students from many years ago, and when I see them in their uniforms, I feel so good. I say, yes, man, something rub off. And I let the teachers at school know that, I saw you and you're doing this or that. And they would come by from time to time to look for us and all of that. So, these are the things that I know will allow you to feel good, but you have to start the process. Get to your happy place. There must be a happy place. No matter how much things are terrible and wrong and bad, your happiness is paramount. It is important that you get to understand who you are so you can parent across the generations and do it positively. And the walls are tearing down, the roof are fall down, and everything just seems to be going. There is nothing that seems to be going right for some of us now. And even listening, Miss Mackenzie can talk because whatever. But I am just here, guys, to tell you that I know that there is somebody out there who can support, who can assist you, who you can bounce off ideas on. Just try it. It's not going to work for every single one of us because all of us, our situations are different, but it doesn't hurt to try. Take a breather, calm down. Some persons say they meditate, meaning they just sit down and, they're quiet and they're thinking. Maybe sometimes the thinking leads to headache too, but that's another thing. But don't forget, you have to get to that place within you before you can try to fix the children and before you can grow them up so that your training will help to impact generations, and it's going to impact different generations through them. Because when you groom them, they will groom the other set who they get to care for, who fall under their support system, and so on and so forth. So you are going to notice later on down the line, you're going to say, oh, is this one child that, or is that one child that? And then you are saying that because you are seeing the behaviors, you are seeing certain things, and you know exactly where it's coming from. And you can pinpoint some of the things and readily say, yes, I was a part of that development. I'm sorry you never got to see the video. It was very interesting. But life is what you make it, parents. And it's good that you're able to log on. I know some of you are using your data, and I want to thank you. And remember, it's not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. Thank you for listening. And I hope that after today, some of us will at least, take on some of these suggestions and try to see how best we can use them to enrich our lives, because we are parents, but we need to have fun and relax as well and get into our own space. I leave this song with you as I go. Blessings, everybody. Sorry about that, guys. Still not coming up for me, but it is a song by Grams Morgan, which speaks to the fact that there's a place for people like you. Thank you once again. Over to you, Miss Williams.
Thank you so very much, Miss Harris. I was just trying to see if I could get that song for you on YouTube. However, in the interest of time, and I know, as you said, a lot of persons are using data and, their credit might be soon out. I just want to say, Mr. Daly, you chose the right persons for the job. Miss Harris Mackenzie, you did an awesome job. I know your internet was giving some problems, and it's not anything that we have control over. We have become accustomed to it, if I may say so, because we are in a pandemic, and trust me, a lot of things have gone wrong. However, your presentation didn't lack anything. There was a lot of takeaway. You kept it real, right? As our children would say, you level with us. And we want to really thank you for that. You came down to our level. You reasoned with the parents. It wasn't any high-flown presentation that we couldn't relate to. And so we want to thank you so very much for coming and sharing. She is a guidance counselor, and so she is very familiar with the struggles that our children face, with the issues that they are having, and we saw that in her presentation today. So as I said before, we would have questions. Before I get to that though, Miss, is there any parent who wants to ask Miss Mackenzie anything? Do you have any questions, parents, for Miss Mackenzie? Anything that you might need help with? You might need to talk with her. She might be able to give you a contact number and so on, because she is a guidance counselor, and all guidance counselors are here to help in whatever capacity. I know she works with the Ministry of Education. She's a teacher. And even though she is not directly attached to Lewisville, I am sure she would not mind helping if there is a need. Okay, moving right ahead. It's not questions that I have so much, but I just want two parents, and I'm going to take one from YouTube and one from our Zoom platform. I just want two parents to share with us your takeaway from the presentation. Is there anything that stands out, anything that resonates with you based on what Ms. Mackenzie shared? Could be a sentence, it could be a word, it could be a feeling. Just let us know. Miss Scott, I don't know if Miss Scott is still with us. I don't, let me check. Is Miss Scott still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, thank you so very much. I would love if you could see if you can get the response coming to us from YouTube, if you could monitor our YouTube channel. And if you don't want to unmute, parents, you can go ahead and type in the chat. If you wish to unmute, you may also do that. What is it that stood out from the presentation? What was your takeaway? What did you learn? What is it that resonates with you as a parent? For me, I could relate to the fact that she said, children feed off our energy. Our children feed off our energy. That is so true. Sometimes we, as parents might be angry, and that is the experience that our children are exposed to. And guess what? We have angry children. Our children are just angry. They are just always upset. They are just always speaking in a tone. Sometimes the tone in which our children address us, it tells us that they are having underlying issues. And sometimes as teachers, we say to them, what is happening? Why are you speaking like, Miss, what me do, Miss? After me not say nothing, because they don't see anything wrong with the way in which they address us. They don't see anything wrong in the manner with which they speak. But because they are cultured that way, it is just what they're accustomed to. And so this stood out for me. Children feed off our energy. So as parents, we have to be careful of the energy that we give off, the energy that we give off, the experiences we allow our children to be a part of. All right. There's also a saying that says, don't worry if children are not listening to you. Yes, we like when children listen. Don't worry if children are not listening to you. Be cautious that they're always watching you. They're always watching us. So we tell them, don't do this and don't do that. But what is it that they see as parents that we are doing? right? So we have to be careful. All right, anything, Miss Scott? Parent, if you wish to speak, you can just go ahead and raise your hand. Yes, Miss Scott, you may go ahead.
No response so far.
No response so far. Colleagues, if there's anybody who wants to share, if you're not a parent and you're a part of the platform, is there anything that stood out? Is there anything that you understood? Anything that you'd want to share? Okay. I think our parents are just soaking it in. I hope that is the case. And I'm sure they heard you. I heard you. You did an awesome job, Miss Harris. She also said that sometimes parents have to put themselves in harm's way just to protect their children, just to protect our children. We do things that we wouldn't sometimes want to get up and go to work. Today, I just don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like going. But because I know my children are depending on me, I have to go. Because I know my children will need lunch money, I have to get out of bed, whether it's raining. Some parents are online from other jurisdictions. It might be snowing, it might be cold, but because I know my children are depending on me, I have to do it. All right. Thank you so very much, Miss Mackenzie. Moving right along, we have a poem from Rihanna. Is Rihanna with us? Rihanna Archibald, she's a student, a very dedicated student. Yes, her hand is raised. You may unmute Rihanna and you may go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody.
You can open your camera.
No, no, thank you.
Okay,
I'll be
all right,
doing
no problem. Go ahead.
Are you still hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, Rihanna. Go ahead.
Good parents cannot be replaced, but rather they impact generation with such a man. Nay, peace and grace live in such strong.
Your microphone is muted, Rihanna. You can, yeah, be careful about that. Yes, go ahead, darling.
Oh. Good parents cannot be replaced, but rather they impact generation with such a magnet. Peace and grace live in such strong values. In place, these values cannot be erased, but must be embraced. Mr. Jacobs, he is not a careless man in teaching children to make them know right from wrong. Mrs. Jacobs, she is a powerful woman. She look a job, not no worthless one. If you pay keen attention, you would realize that good parents give you more than just a beautiful face. They always tell you to shoot for the stars. It's going to be hard, but my child, you are going to go far. Understand this. No one can love you more than your very own parents, that's for sure. Always remember this to be true. Good parents will be there for you in whatever you do. This kind of love does not impact a few, but just like believe that to be true. Mother and father should play the same role. And them go make a baby where them want own.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, very good, Rihanna. Very good. A very obedient student, a very dedicated, hardworking student. It's one of those persons that you can give a task to and you can consider it done. Rihanna, we want to thank you for sharing with us. I think Georgia, I think that's probably mommy saying that you are having allergies and so your eyes are swollen. Nevertheless, there are some children who say, Miss, I'm ill, I couldn't do it. But here she is determined to continue. And so we want to thank you very much. That is a very good character trait. A very good character trait. You will succeed. You will go far, Rihanna. Some persons would just say, Miss, I'm not well today, and so I can't be here, but she is here. That's the kind of person she is. Thank you so very much. Okay. We are moving right ahead on the program. And so we have Miss Coote with us from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Miss Coote, welcome. Miss Simone Coote, is she still on? If you're on, Miss Coote, please go ahead. You may unmute your mic. Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Please listen up, guys. We didn't give away anything just now because nobody was willing to share. Or should I say I got all the prizes? Mr. Daly, I'll be sending you my information. All right, Miss Coote is here. Please.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My
Good
name
afternoon.
is Simone Coote, and I'm with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. It has been an interesting presentation. Ms. Harris McKenzie, your presentation was very good. Thank you for the highlight. I am noticing that you're doing a parenting presentation. So I will gear my presentation towards the benefits of the parent. You know that we are Social Security contact for the country. So mainly persons will think of us and think of PA or think of NIS contributions they can get there, or the labor board if there are issues. Today, I want to focus on our rehabilitation program. And the reason for this is that this is a benefit that is open to everyone, not only households on PA, but everyone in general. And this program consists of 4 grants. You have the compassionate grant, the emergency grant, the education and social intervention grant, and the rehabilitation grant. Now, the compassionate grant takes care of the needs of persons who might have medical expenses, funeral expenses, or other dire personal expenses and cannot fulfill them, either by unemployment or just the overwhelming expense of what you need to deal with. Then, of course, you can come to us, you can apply for this grant. If in case it's a funeral grant, and I chose that one because it's more popular. It's not an entitlement, bear in mind. You will not be required to pay back this money. It is normally $60,000, and you are required to come to us with an invoice from the funeral home, your TRN, your ID, and you come and you fill out a form, an application form. You will be visited by a social worker, and you will have to share with the social worker why you need this grant. The need is lots, the resources are limited, so it's extended to persons who are more in need or most in need. We have the emergency grant, and this is where persons who might have suffered from a fire at home or other natural disaster is given aid, and this is $50,000. And once again, we ask you to come with your ID or TRN, complete an application form, and then in cases of all our grants, you will be visited by a social worker to assess the level of maybe damage or to assess the level of need. We have the rehabilitation grant, which might be more popular in Jamaica at the moment. Some persons would refer to this as a chicken grant, but that is not so. We are not limited to the person's career, but what we do is help persons to develop an income, and they can do so through self-employment. If you have a grocery shop, you're unable to restock your shop, or you need help to boost your shop, then you can come to us again. This grant is only $55,000. You would come with an invoice from the supplier who you wish to buy your product from, your TRN, your ID, your license to say that you can go ahead and operate your business, which you get from the tax office, your food handler's permit, and you come and you fill out the application, and then a social worker will visit to assess the need. You might think, all right, you have maybe a small business that you're not sure if we will facilitate. We invite you to come in, have a talk with us, and we will see how best we can help. Don't just close it off to say, no, I will not qualify for that. My business is not big enough. Whatever your needs are, come in and speak to us. We're open to you. This is a school environment, and there are parents online, and especially in this pandemic, we know that you have been feeling the crunch. Of course, you got not helpful part if you're in a part household, but what if you're not? If you're not in a part household, school is going to be reopened. You need car keys, school bags, books, and you don't know where to turn. Maybe you've lost your source of income due to the pandemic. Then we invite you to come and apply for an education and social intervention grant. And this is where you can apply for uniform, textbooks, shoes, school bags. You take an invoice from the supplier for which who will be supplying this item. You come with your TRN and your ID. You have to come with proof that your student is participating or a member or registered in a school. So if you have the book list, or if you have a letter from the school to say, yes, this child is a registered student, then that would be good. But preferably the book list. You come and you apply for the grant. Once again, because the need is great and the resources are small, you will be visited by a social worker who will then assess the need and see how we can help. We try our best to help in every way, in every situation. And therefore, we now have a post-secondary grant, and maybe you're familiar with this. This is extended to 11th graders who have left high school, going back to sixth form, and would like to get assistance with their tuition or to continue getting their bi-monthly pass benefits. This one, however, which is the post-secondary grant, is only extended to families who are a part of the pass household. That means you're registered and you're receiving pass benefits. So although we do have our major focus being on students on pass households, we do try to extend services to everyone. And we tell the parents whatever might overwhelm you, even if you don't hear about us offering a grant or assistance in that area, come and talk to us. If we can't do it ourselves, we will refer you to another government agency who would be able to assist. Is there any questions? Any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, maybe I should expound on our emergency grant. So if you know of anyone in your neighborhood who might have suffered from a house fire, then you can have them contact us. And with the fire report from the fire station, as well as their parent and their ID, they can come and seek some assistance from us. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Scott, for sharing. If you have questions or if you're typing your questions, and you wish for us to wait a little for you to type your question, you may raise your hand, so we will give you some time to do so. I'm checking to see if we have any raised hands. Ms. Scott, I'm not seeing any raised hand here. Do we have anybody sending messages in on YouTube?
There's none on YouTube.
Okay, thank you so very much. Which means you did an awesome job and our parents understood well what you were saying. And if they have questions or concerns, I would suppose that by now they know that they can contact your office. Next on our program, we have come to the end of our program actually. We have come to the end of our program. Just give me a minute here. Okay, still no questions. All right, so thank you so very much, Ms. Coot. At this moment, we're gonna ask Ms. Scott to move for the vote of thanks. I think we do have some more credits to give out, Mr. Daly.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
We do. Okay. Parents, is there anybody on the platform who can share two of the well, let me just give you one so we could have more prizes being given away. One of the grant that is being offered. One of the grants that Ms. Coot just mentioned that the Ministry of Labor and Social Security offers. Come on, parents. Name one of the grants that is offered by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Anybody on the platform, parent, teachers, anybody on the platform can answer. Because we have teachers who are also parents. Okay, Ms. Petrina, go ahead. Okay, I'm seeing Miss Brown right here answering. Go ahead, Miss Petrina, you may unmute. So we have one there for Miss Brown, right? Mr. Daly. I'm not hearing Miss Petrina. I don't know if she's typing it. Is there anybody on YouTube, Miss Scott?
There are persons, about 5 persons here, but nobody is responding.
Okay, Miss Petrina, could you go ahead and are you typing your response or you may unmute to respond? She's still on. You can type in it. You can type in the chat. Maybe it's taking her a little while.
Oh, the host wasn't allowing me to unmute. The 50,000 grant for the funeral and all of that. But as I said, I'm in the US, so you can't give the credit to somebody.
Oh, that's oh, okay, okay.
Else.
Okay. Yes. Anybody else? We have Miss Natalie, Miss Mackenzie went ahead and answer education and social intervention grant. So yes, and we have Dalvin Titus emergency grant. I think she alluded to the one for fire. So okay, so those are 3 persons. Titus, please just Mr. Daly, you can write down the names. And we have here Miss Harris, Miss Brown Wright, and we have Miss Mackenzie. Miss Mackenzie. So Miss Mackenzie, Miss Brown Wright, and Mr. Titus. So those are 3 persons. Thank you so very much for sharing, parents. And we're going to move to Miss Scott. The number, again, let me give you the number again, just in case you didn't get the number. Let me bring it up. The number for you to text in order to get your credit, the number is 482-4861. That's 482-4861. So just type your names, because we have the names here. Type your name and say which network you are associated with, and your credit will be added to your phone or the number given. Thank you so very much. Okay, at this time, I'm going to invite Ms. Scott with the vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you. To our principal, vice principal, chairman, Mr. Townsend, the guidance counselor, Mr. Daly, Devon Daly, who has organized this event, our guest speakers, our parents, chairperson, Michelle Nika Williams, Dean of Discipline, students, and all categories of staff. Just want to take the time out to say thank you to all those who made this possible, who made this workshop possible. Special thank you to our principal, Mr. Duquesne Williams, our chairman, Ms. Judith Townsend, our guidance counselor, Mr. Daly, our guest speaker, Mrs. Natalie Mackenzie, the Dean of Discipline, Mr. G. Curlew, other guests, special guests, for example, Ms. Suzanne Roy, who spoke on drug abuse, and Ms. Simone Coot, who just closed off with the PATH benefits, and Mariana Archibald, the student who did the poem, Mr. Heron, who gave the spiritual food earlier this morning. Just want to say a special thanks to our parents. And this workshop was conducted for you, our parents. And we just want to say thank you so much for being a wonderful audience or participants. For those who were just giving their support, we are truly happy to have had you today. And so we say thanks to everybody who made this possible. I'm hoping I did not forget anybody. But thanks to everyone who came out today and gave of their time and support in making this, or for us to achieve this workshop today. We say thank you to everyone.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Scott. Thanks for the vote of thanks. We have come to the end of a very amazing day. Thank you all for sharing. It was good to have you all. As I indicated before, you may visit our YouTube channel. This whole presentation is there just in case you want to share it with others or you want to watch it again. Have a good day.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Williams and everybody. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Daly. You too.